Hey travelers, Mag and I here on day 131 of our trip around the United States. I want to start this morning off by giving a special birthday wish to the Marine Corps. Today is our 248th birthday. Back in this day in 1775, my Marine Corps came alive, and I'm very proud to be a part of that tradition and continue the legacy. This morning, we're starting the adventure off from here in Clarksville, Tennessee. We're at the Dunbar Cave State Park, and from here, we're going to move our way into downtown Clarksville and get to go see the sights of the historic city. That is the only thing we'll be doing in Tennessee today. From here, we're going to move north and go back into Kentucky. We have 200 miles to cover today, and for the most part, we're going to be moving directly north. Once we get up to Lewisport, that's our ending point from the day. From there, we'll get staged and ready for tomorrow. Aichant is very excited to get out here on the trails, so I don't want to keep you guys any longer than necessary. Let's go explore downtown Clarksville. Come on, let's go. We got this morning's adventure kicked off here in Dunbar Cave State Park, a 110-acre protected area within Clarksville, Tennessee. To reach the cave, it's a short walk down the trail above the man-made Swan Lake. As you approach, you will see 3 distinct man-made arches near the entranceway. Since the cave remains at a constant temperature of 56 degrees, it has always been a desirable place for people to gather. In the 1800s and early 1900s, it was used by people for celebrations and for dancing and music. Artifacts from the Paleo-Indian time have been located within the cave dating all the way back to 10,000 BC. Now with our walk for the morning done, let's head into downtown Clarksville and see some of the sights. Our first stop goes all the way back to the beginning at Sevier Station, the oldest building in Clarksville. This home was built in 1792 on a 640-acre purchased with the Revolutionary War grant of Valentine Sevier. Valentine had been a part of the militia, earning the rank of colonel. His older brother John even became the first governor of Tennessee. Coming a little further into the city, we stop by the Cumberland River Center. This is the city's signature riverfront park, playing host to several events and festivals year-round. The park itself is comprised of a 2-mile riverfront promenade, playground, picnic area, and a river exhibit. Here you can learn all about the Cumberland River and its history in the development of Clarksville. After absorbing a little bit of knowledge, you're encouraged to walk out and see the river for yourself. This is an incredibly busy spot with lots of people around. And it's easy to see why with a great view like this. To wrap things up in Clarksville, we made our way into the heart of the city to visit the Montgomery County Courthouse. This 4-story building is actually the 4th courthouse for the county. The first had been constructed by James Adam in 1796, and the last had been destroyed by a fire in 1878. Walking around each side of the courthouse, you will find many statues and other items celebrating the history of Clarksville. And while some of those are wacky, none are as wacky as this wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube guy. Okay recruits, let's stop goofing around and get out there and find some geocaches. Let's go! While that is a power box, this is not how power poles work. That means we've got a geocache. While most of what we did today was in or near cities, we did have the occasional opportunity to jump into the woods for a find. But even out here, under the tree cover, we were still locating pill bottles. I guess that means we found our flavor of the day. Crossing back across the state line, now barely in Kentucky, we found ourselves in Guthrie with a population of around 1,500. The town saw its beginnings as a stagecoach stop in the 1840s. It was so named for former Representative James Guthrie, the president of the Louisville and Nashville Railroad at its founding in 1867. This is also the birthplace of the nation's first poet laureate, Robert Penn Warren. Since the position was first established in 1985, there have only been 24 poet laureates in U.S. history. Really, Kentucky? We're not going to talk about the big pink elephant in the state? We're just going to pretend this thing isn't here? Coming into Russellville, the county seat for Logan County, we dropped into the town square to visit a couple of virtuals. Located right in the middle of town, this is a very busy spot with cars passing around at all times. The park itself offers a great look back in history with many historical markers, statues, and memorials spread all around. During the Civil War, the Kentucky General Assembly had declared itself neutral and declined to secede with the rest of the South. However, in the summer of 1861, Confederate troops occupied the area and gathered for the Russellville Convention. Here they elected a Confederate governor and seceded from the Union. And so we ended up with a split state, with some supporting the Union and some supporting the Confederacy. Our next stop from there was Morgantown, the county seat of Butler, with a population of around 2,500. Having just learned about how Kentucky seceded from the Union in Russellville, it was very interesting to come here to the courthouse and visit this statue. It is one of only 2 monuments in the country dedicated to soldiers of both sides who died in the Civil War. The Confederate Union Veterans Monument was built in the aftermath of the Spanish-American War. It is a very fitting monument for the Butler County seat, considering that this county had mixed loyalties during the war. As with many other county courthouses, there are also lots of other interesting memorials, monuments, and statues around the grounds. And considering that today is the birthday of our Corps, I was more than happy to see all of these flags flying directly in front of the building. Oh, I am feeling that Semper Fi attitude today. OORAH Marine Corps. Happy 248th birthday, Devil Dogs. Next up is Greenville, the county seat for Muhlenberg County, with a population of around 4,500. This city is said to have been named for Revolutionary War General Nathaniel Greene. This city hosts a series of bronze sculptures around town referred to as Pillars of Community, meant to represent core values of faith, family, health, education, enterprise, arts, patriotism, and teamwork. Each of these Pillar of the Community statues feature children as they represent the future of the community. While walking around the courthouse grounds, you'll also find many statues and memorials dedicated to our veterans. It was the geocache hidden on one of these memorials that had brought us here in the first place, but it was this list of names that kept us. Stretching from one end of the plaza to the other, these plaques bear the names of veterans who have served from Muhlenberg County. In total, there are 13 plaques bearing over 7,000 names, including veterans that are still living. This would be a very difficult courthouse to visit without feeling a swell of patriotic pride. And certainly not while witnessing this pillar of the community forever saluting the American flag. While admittedly, most of what we found today were pill bottles, it was interesting that they continued to bring us back to veterans memorials, county courthouses, and cemeteries like this. The names of the Civil War soldiers who were buried here are unknown, but the community still pulled together to give them a proper resting place. And we continued to see more memorials on our way to our final stop of the night. After having traversed through small towns all day since leaving Clarksville, it was quite a contrast to reach Owensboro, the county seat of Daviess County, with a population of around 60,000. We started our journey into the city in front of the Museum of Art in pursuit of an earth cache. Here we learned about Bill Smothers, the pioneer settler of Yellowbanks who established his cabin around 1797. Walking out onto the riverfront at Smothers Park, we visited what is named one of the top playgrounds in the world. And the only thing holding me back from showing you that amazing playground is the fact that it was filled with children. Absolutely filled. I included a link to it in the description though. And if you ever happen to be visiting Owensboro with children, you absolutely have to take them to that park. We used what was left of a rapidly fading sunlight to visit the American Legion building before heading over to the Veterans Memorial on the Riverwalk. The centerpiece here is the Charles Shelton Memorial in honor of Captain Charles Irvin Shelton, who was shot down over Laos on his 33rd birthday on the 29th of April in 1965. Radio contact had been made with Captain Shelton while he was on the ground, and over 140 missions had been flown to find him. He was first declared as missing in action, then as a prisoner of war, and finally as killed in action in 1994. And the quote from the monument remained with me: "Enjoy your freedom. It has been paid for." And that's a wrap for today. We were this close to making it to our goal. We're in Owensboro now, and we're just one county and page shy of making it to Lewisport. But we could not beat the sun today. It is setting down over us quickly, and we're going to get to enjoy a very nice sunset here in Owensboro. It has been a fantastic day, starting off in Clarksville and then making our way up through Kentucky from there. In keeping with the Marine Corps birthday, it has been a very patriotic day. We have seen a lot of veterans memorials today and a lot of red gold flying great. We hope that you guys have enjoyed this tour through this part of Kentucky. and all the patriotic sights we got to see along the way. Happy birthday, Marines! Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.